ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. We'll chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita Chapter 15 verses 11 to 15.
यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानः नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजः जगद्भासयतेऽखिलम् यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टः मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यः वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम्.
In this chapter 15, we have so far seen up to verse number 11. So far the thought process has been, he talked about the samsaric world which has come out of Brahman. This samsara itself is due to the ignorance of Brahman, and he explained that the ignorance of Brahman is the primary cause, and due to the ignorance of Brahman, the misapprehension of the world has come about, and we out of ignorance are lost in this world. And as we do actions propelled by ignorance, desires, we create more and more vasanas, and we are caught in this cycle of birth and death bondage. So understanding this, understanding the nature of Brahman, understanding the impermanent nature of the world, one must develop detachment to the world. When you understand that Brahman alone is permanent and this world is transient, temporary, passing, fleeting, impermanent, you should not get deluded further by the world. Rather, you should develop detachment. Understand that things and beings in this world are only for transactional purpose. They are only vyavaharika satyam, not paramarthika satyam. They are relatively real, but absolutely they are not real. And develop the detachment and seek the goal of Brahman, which is the permanent truth, or what do you call the ultimate reality, right? Absolute reality. Seek that. And you must qualify yourself to gain that knowledge of the self, and then gain the knowledge of the self and liberate yourself. Understand that it is that Brahman which is manifested as this world, the macrocosm, and the microcosm. And this Jiva is none other than self plus body, mind, intellect. When it functions through the body, you become perceiver and actor. When it functions through the mind, you become the feeler. When it functions through the intellect, you become the, what do you call, thinker. And then when it functions through subtle intellect, you become the contemplator. Okay? So once you understand this, you understand that you are the Atma, which is your spiritual personality, but you also have a physical personality, emotional personality, intellectual personality. You will function in and through all that, but you will not get caught in it. Ignorant people get lost, he says. So he says in 11, the yogis who strive perceive this dwelling in the self. The unrefined and unintelligent, even though striving, do not perceive this. So, in other words, you may be pursuing the Jnana Marga, like we are all attending classes, studying Gita, we are all in Jnana Marga. But if we are not supporting our efforts in Jnana Marga with sadhana, if it is not supported by a spiritual lifestyle, whether it is eating, sleeping, reading books, the association of people, there has to be spiritual discipline in everything. It has to be supported by Dhamma and Shama. Dhamma means sense control, Dhamma means mind control. Now, without that, just simply gaining the information will not bring about the transformation, he says. The unrefined and the unintelligent will not be able to bring about the transformation within. That's what he's trying to say here. So, therefore, it is extremely important to lead a sattvic lifestyle, spiritual lifestyle, and pursue jnana. Then you will see this truth in everything. If you are so gross, even though it is right in front of you, you cannot see. People ask, where is God? Where is God? Show it to us. Show it to us. Right? So, they say, oh, if there is God, you should have shown it to us. So this proves that there is no God. But you can also look at it from a different angle. Like now, for example, even when I'm standing right in front of you, you may not see me because your mind is preoccupied with so many other things. That doesn't mean just because you're not seeing me, I don't exist. Right? Some other person who is not preoccupied is seeing me. So the other possibility, when you don't see God, the possibility is that you may be preoccupied. So that's what Vedanta is saying. You are preoccupied, you get rid of your preoccupations. Vedanta is never against occupation. Remember, it is only against preoccupation. You understand? So he says you have to refine yourself with these practices, spiritual practices. Then this knowledge will blossom in you. Otherwise, it will go waste. This information. Rather than developing humility, it may produce contrary result, arrogance. But I know so much. No. So therefore, he says, unintelligent people, even though they are in the path, in the Jnana Marga, they don't see it. The unrefined and unintelligent, even though striving, do not perceive this, the truth. So when people ask, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It is there everywhere in this macrocosm and the microcosm. Ya pashyati sa pashyati. Whoever sees it, sees it. That's why Jesus Christ said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Understand? It's the pure person that sees God, divinity. See, goodness per se is not having any, what do you call, exaggerated value. Decent value in the world. If you are good, you'll be relatively happy rather than being selfish. But goodness helps in turning spiritual, in the spiritual thing to develop in you. Like the soil has to be conducive for the seed to grow. If the soil is not conducive, the seed will not grow. You understand? So all these tapas that we do from different level, at different levels, will help in this knowledge bringing about the transformation. So once you start getting transformed you start seeing the truth in everything. And that's what he's going to discuss from 12 to 16. He in verse number 1 to 11, he talked about Brahman being the macrocosm, Brahman being the microcosm as perishable, kshara. What is available to your senses, mind and intellect is perishable. Much deeper when you go, there is that imperishable truth in everything. वो देखना बहुत मुश्किल है for everybody. It's not easy for everyone. But if you are refined through tapas, then you will start seeing that akshara, the imperishable. So the topic from verse number 12 to 15 is this, that akshara, the imperishable. Brahman as imperishable, the subtle reality, the substratum behind all that you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, feel, think, and all that. So let's get on to sloka number 12.
यदादित्यगतं तेजः जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम्.
So when everybody is asking, where is God? Where is God? Show me. He's saying, okay, let me start from the greatest manifestation, which is sun, with reference to the earth that we are living here. Without sun, life here is not possible. So he takes that as an example. He says, sun, Aditya. You understand? So he takes that example. He's only using these things as to us about the Akshara principle. You understand? The imperishable aspect. So he says, the light residing in the sun, which illumines the whole world. Yet Aditya Gatam Tejaha. Teja means the energy, the illuminating capacity that the sun has, with which it illuminates the whole world. Jagat Basayate Kilam. This whole Akilam, Jagat, is illumined by sun, with whose energy is asking. Can you not see when you are seeing the sunlight illumining the whole world, because of which you as human beings and other species yet are getting the energy and vitality and the light with which you see everything, experience everything. That light is me, he says. The light in the sun is me. The light residing in the sun, which illumines the whole world. And then he comes to moon. Sun is direct light. Moon is indirect light. Right? He says, Yat Chandramasi Yat Chagnav. Yat Chandramasi. He goes to moon. And the light in the moon. And then Agni, the fire, generated light. All the sources of Jyoti. See, Jyoti he takes symbolically to explain the consciousness. You understand? Jyoti here means what? Light. Light means light of wisdom, light of knowledge. Right? So, the real light behind the sun's light is Atma, he says, the consciousness. Okay? Because sun per se is also what? Elements, which means it is matter. Right? And if through that shine, illumination is coming, it is because of the consciousness.
Covered this in another concept like this in the previous chapter, right?
No, in this chapter itself, in sloka number, I think 6 or 7, he already talked about something similar. That's what you're talking about. 6, that the sun illuminates not, nor moon, nor.
In one of the chapters, he describes when he says of all the suns, I'm the brightest sun, where he's trying to describe that I am in everything. That is
Chapter 11. Chapter 10 and 11.
10 and 11.
Yeah. That's exactly that's why chapter 15 is considered to be a chapter which has the entire Gita in it also. Right? Anyway, so he says the light residing in the sun. In short, 10th chapter is called what? 10th chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga. The real Vibhuti, glory, is Brahman's glory. Anything that you see which is worthy of glorification, the glory of everything is actually Brahman's glory. Because without Brahman, everything will be jada, insentient. Therefore, really speaking, what is to whom the glory should go is to Bhagavan. You understand? So that's what the chapter 10 says. Yoga of supreme manifestation, Vibhuti Yoga. So the light residing in the sun, which illumines the whole world, is me. He says. Here Sri Krishna is now talking as Ishvara. With reference to the whole world, Jagat is now talking. And he says, and it is the same light which is in the moon. Through the sun, it gets reflected through the moon. It comes through the sun and gets reflected through the moon. And then he comes down and says, the fire, when you see light in the fire, right, that is also me. Know that light to be mine. Anything that is shining, right? What makes it shine is me, not what is shining. You understand? What is shining is also Brahman in the sense it's the Maya Tattva. It is coming from the Maya. You understand? So therefore he says, you wanted to see Brahman, na? You can see me in sun, you can see me in moon, you can see me in fire. And this when he talks about fire, he's going to explain that in verse number 14. Because there he will mention about Vaishwanara, the fire in the belly. So basically is coming from far, the sun, to the moon, to the earth, and to you, into you. Right? To say that I am pervading the entire macrocosm and the microcosm as Akshara. Whoever sees it, sees it. You don't see it, you don't see it. I can't help it. So if you want to see it, you have to refine yourself. You have to do tapas. The problem is we are ready to consume information. But that itself now less people are signing up. You understand? Not like before. Now even to consume information, very less people sign up, especially for 1 hour. They would like to consume it in 50 seconds, 59 seconds in shorts videos. You understand? So that itself is reduced. Then if you really want that to have some effect in you, you need to do sadhana. So he says, I am the light in the sun. I am that which comes out as energy and light through the sun, and then through the moon, then through the fire. See, if the fire warmth is not there in the body, right, what will happen? Gone. When a person dies, they touch and see, oh, it's become cold. Now, Jiva has become Shava, isn't it? Jiva has become Shava. The living entity has now become corpse, dead body. So the warmth, that is me, he's trying to say. I am the real life behind life. That is basically what he wants to say. And the whole idea of all these things, see, these are all shlokas to turn us introvert, rather than getting into Sanskrit and then, this is what he meant, that is what he meant, trying to do the head splitting analysis of the shloka and then go here and there, which may stimulate you intellectually, but take you nowhere. The idea here is to turn introvert. The mind should turn introvert. He's not wanting you to go to the sun. He's wanting you to go to the source. He will use anything. He will use anything and everything. His only idea is to turn you towards the source. You understand? So the sun, the moon, and the fire, it takes us as symbolically to explain the consciousness. That consciousness is what is illumining the whole world. If you are refined, you can see it here. Right within you and beyond. God means what? Something which is both immanent and transcendent. Understand? Something which is both immanent and transcendent. And that is the concept he's explaining. Know that light to be mine. See, when he says, know that light to be mine, that means I am different from that light. What is he trying to say? No, I'm not different from that light. This light is what is borrowed. And everything that you see here is borrowed light. I'm the original light. That's what he wants to say. And he says, know that light to be mine. So that means it's Brahman's light. Brahman is something else. There are people who interpret it like that also. Listen. It is Brahman from which the, what do you call, the planets have borrowed it and they are shining it. The moon is not a planet actually, but I'm just using them, these illumining sources. Forget the word planet. By mistake I said that. The illumining sources like moon, the sun, they are illuminating it. Moon doesn't directly illuminate. It's an indirect illuminator. So all this is getting that from me, he says. Per se they are insentient. You get it? Next shloka.
गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः.
Gama Vishya, he says, Gama Avishya means I am the one which is coming into the earth, permeating the earth, and support beings by energy, and having become the juicy moon. Juicy moon doesn't mean moon has juice. Juicy moon, I nourish the plants. What he's saying is, the sun reflects through the moon, right? And in agriculture, they expose the paddy and all that to the moonlight so that it gets, what do you call, the nourishments. You understand? So he says the sunlight comes through the moon and nourishes the paddy seeds and the plants. And that is consumed by us, which gives us nourishment. So that is calling us juice. Right? So he says juicy moon. That juice, that essence, that nourishment, that energy is coming to the plants through the moon from the sun, which basically is mine. That's what he wants to say. Right? So every time you are eating, right? From where the nourishment is coming? It is coming from that Brahman is. It is the essence. It is the essence in everything. You can either focus on the gross or you can focus on the essence. So he says, permeating the earth, I support beings by energy. The sun gives you energy, no? Vitality. And then through the moon, I give nourishment through the plant kingdom to all the other species, including human species. So that is me. That Atman am I. That consciousness am I. That Brahman am I. So if you want to see, you can see it there. Right? So he wants to say that Brahman is this Samanya Karana. Samanya Karana means common cause. Without Brahman, nothing can function here. But the Vishesha Karanam, Adi Shankara says, is our karma, punya and papa karma. Right? You also have agricultural field, another person also agricultural field. He also sows the seed, you also sow the seed. The common cause is same for both, Brahman, the vitality, everything. But your punya papa, your efforts, your negligence, whatever that is the reason for why your agriculture field doesn't bring out as much yield as the other. You understand? So he wants to say in these shlokas that the common cause, samanya karanam for this whole world is Brahman. Right? So if I understand that, now I will become prayerful, grateful, and I will make sure I will put in the right efforts so that I don't incur any wrong effects. Right? So, Brahman being the enlivener, going on enlivening everything, we without understanding, becoming arrogant, becoming negligent, we do mistakes and then we destroy our life. When I understand this, I'll be prayerful and functioning prayerfully. You understand? That's all he's saying. So, permeating the earth, I support beings by energy, and having become the juicy moon, I nourish all plants. So, when I see the plants, the nourishment in them, that's me. That's Brahman. So, I can see Brahman there. I can see Brahman in moon. I can see Brahman in sun. I can see Brahman in everything. But for that, I need to be refined. Otherwise, I will think about it when I'm studying chapter 15. But when I get out, I won't see it. So the idea is the time spent with the scripture should bring about that awareness which will be retained 24/7, 365 days. That's the idea. You get it? Otherwise, what's the use? Oh, okay. Consciousness comes through the sun, through the moon, through the plants, and that's it. Very good. Thank you. No, but when I'm contacting the world, in everything, I start seeing this. I start seeing Brahman everywhere. Right? That should happen in me. That's why Swamiji says prayer is not a part-time, pastime hobby. It's a full-time awareness of truth. And that's what we should cultivate from this study. Otherwise, it's a missed opportunity. It's a lost opportunity. So, he says, I come into the world and I am the one, dharayami. He says, aham, ojasa, through the ojas, the shakti, the nourishment. I am nourishing all the bhutas, all the beings. Pushnami chaushadi sarvah, all, I nourish them. Somo bhutva rasatmaka. The rasa is what he wants to emphasize upon. That rasa is me. Right? So what is important is that rasa. What we give importance is how many kilos brinjal we are buying, how many kilos vegetable we are buying. We give importance to the matter, not to the rasa. And that's why they say you should consume the rasa, not the, what do you call, the matter per se. Right? Nowadays, everybody talks about this protein and all that, which is important, fine. But what about this? You understand? So, therefore, they talk about sattvic food and all that in some other context. It is important to make sure that we consume the right type of food which energizes us, rather than we have to spend so much energy to digest the food itself. You understand? There is a little bit of an extrapolation. That's all right. It's still not going out of context. So, permeating the earth, I support beings. So, really speaking, who is supporting us? We say, Bhagavan, आपने मुझे छोड़ दिया, especially between 2020 March to 2022, 2 years, जब corona came, you left me. No, I didn't leave you. Right? You didn't care about me. Right? If you really understood this, you would have been taking care of your health. It's coming, that next shloka 14 is coming, where he'll talk about pranayam, prana, apana, vayu. You understand? So if you are properly regulating your body and exposing yourself, and you will be developing all that, then you would be able to have immunity to fight. Otherwise, you wouldn't. Right? So I am the one who is supporting. And Brahman is constantly supporting us. It's just that we who are so gross, we forget about it. So that's the thing we need to understand. When he says, Dharayami aham aujasham. So I am supporting. Right? So I must lead a lifestyle that increases that consciousness, that awareness, not dullens it more. See, when the yajna is going on, what do? They pour ghee. You understand? Now, if you put mud on it or sand on it, it will shut down the whole thing. Isn't it? It will quench the fire. Whereas we need to pour ghee to kindle it further. So that's tapas and everything that we are supposed to do is to kindle this consciousness more and more. That's why they say the food you consume is also very important. You get it? Next shloka. 14. Now this 14th shloka is what we usually, one of the shlokas, two shlokas we chant before having any food, breakfast, lunch or dinner. In fact, some people chant the entire 15th chapter. Right? But at least two shlokas we chant, 24th shloka of chapter 4. Brahmarpanam Brahmavi, that shloka. Then this shloka, 14th shloka of chapter 15, we chant because it talks about that Vaishwanara, the Jataragni, they say. Jataragni, the Agni in the belly. It's an Agni there. And that Agni is Brahman. See, they say, no, when people have cancer and all those kind of disease, one of the things they say, you're not having hunger at all. I don't have hunger at all. Don't eat. Not feeling hungry at all. Then the doctor is concerned. Why you are not having hunger? You understand? So then he will check what's wrong. So hunger is important. If it's too much also, it's a problem. If it's not there also, it's a problem. So that Agni he is now taking. He's already spoken about sun and moon. Now he's taking that Agni and then he's saying from the sun to the moon to the earth he came and he's now come into your body. He's saying in your body I'm there as the Agni. He's going to say that. So when we are eating the food, we are offering the food to that Agni only. That's why we chant this shloka before eating. So in other words, that's a prayer. That's an offering. Right? So when it's an offering, you have to be careful as to what you're offering. What you offer and how you offer. Both you have to be very careful. Careful in the sense, you do it with awareness. You do it with sincerity. You don't just like that put it in. You understand? So he's saying that. Let's chant shloka number 14.
Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapanasamaयुक्तः Pachamyannam chaturvidham.
Having become Vaishvanara, fire, the Jataragni in the stomach, the Agni in the stomach, hunger. Having become that in the stomach, abiding in the body of living beings, not only human beings, all beings, united with prana and apana. Apana, the breath that is going in, and prana, the breath that is going out. Right? So, this has to be regulated properly, he says. He's not mentioning it, but he's saying united with prana and apana. When they are properly united with prana and apana, then I digest the fourfold food sitting inside. Fourfold food means the four ways of consuming the food. There are four ways in which we consume the food. Bhakshyam means masticating. Bhojyam means swallowing. Right? Choshyam means sucking. Then Lehyam means licking. These are the four ways in which we consume different food. Isn't it? When you get some Ayurveda medicine, they call it as Legya. That you have to lick and out. Right? You drink water, swallow. Right? You bite and eat certain things. You suck and eat. Like mango, a particular mango, you keep pressing and then you just suck it in. So there are four different ways of consuming the food. So he's talking about that fourfold food, whichever way you take it in, I'm the one sitting and digesting and distributing it. Okay. So he says, this is a Agnihotra going on. In fact, they say this is Prana Agnihotram. Right? In Yajna, you offer and kindle the fire. And you got to keep on fanning, So that fanning is done by pranayama. Pranayama doesn't mean only doing pranayama. Generally in life, if you are not too rajasic and too active, or tamasic and being too inactive, you will regulate your pranas. You understand? You're not panting like that. Nor are you completely inactive. Right? When you are functioning in a sattvic way, right, this Agni in you will be nicely digesting the food that you consume. Right? And when you consume the food also, you are consuming the nourishments. And when this prana inside functions properly, this prana, all these different pancha pranas, they function properly, the food gets digested and distributed. What is not needed is thrown out. Right? Who's doing it? I am the one sitting inside and doing it. Right? So having become Vaishvanara, fire, abiding in the body of living beings, united with prana and apana, I digest the fourfold food. I am the one sitting and digesting it. So it's an Agnihotra going on. Even if you are not performing any ritual, any yajna, this is a ritual you are doing. You are offering into the fire inside, the Brahman inside. Right. So you say the prayer and then you offer it. And you live your lifestyle, sattvic lifestyle, so that the pranas are functioning properly. Prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana. They're all functioning properly. And then you'll be able to digest the food. Right? So you will be living healthily also. Both physical health, mental health, spiritual health. All will be taken care of if you understand this, if you lead such a life.
Purpose of him talking about this so that we consume with awareness?
That is also absolutely. That's the reason we do the prayer. We say Brahmarpanam, Brahmavi, Brahmagnav, Brahmanahutam, that shloka or this shloka. What is the purpose? The food eaten is Brahman, eaten by Brahman. Eaten for what purpose? To realize Brahman. Right. So I need to make sure I get the nourishment and maintain my health in such a way that I can continue putting in efforts till I realize Brahman. The purpose for which I've got this human body has to be fulfilled. Otherwise, I'm wasting the body. I'm wasting my time. So that's what is explained. You understand? So it is Brahman that has come through everything. It is that which is sitting in you as the Agni. It is that which is the nourishment. And if it is properly taken care of, it is what nourishes you. And when you function like that and you are taking in the knowledge, you allow that knowledge to transform you. If you have a highly rajasic lifestyle by which your pranas are all distorted, or you are having very tamasic lifestyle by which also again it's distorted, then you will have problems. Your whole life will go in taking care of your health itself. Understand? Digestion problem, this problem, that problem. You can't sleep, you can't do this, you can't do that. So, he's trying to basically say that when you understand the truth like this and you live life accordingly, you will be enjoying the world also and you will be growing spiritually as well. They're not diverse from each other. Right? And in everything you can see God. You will see the divinity. And for that only you will do everything. Food consumption is one of the most powerful sense experience. You understand? So therefore, we can get distracted from the main purpose, which is I eat to live. I don't live to eat. Isn't it? I eat to live. I don't live to eat. And I eat to live to what? Increase my awareness. Realize myself. That's the whole idea. So that's what he's saying. I am that Vaishvanara in your belly. If Vaishvanara is not there, what left? And if you are properly, after understanding, live a life like that, exactly at that appropriate time, you will have the hunger. You understand? And then you feed it, you get that nourishment with which you try to increase your awareness, get closer and closer to the self. That's the idea, of course, like you asked, for all these shlokas. So, having become the Vaishvanara abiding in the body of living beings. So, when you're feeling hungry, then say, now I am feeling the hunger, which is the consciousness manifesting through my body. Right? Hunger can remind me of the divinity. Then when I'm eating the food, I consume it with the thought of divinity. So then everything gets divinized. In fact, in the 4th chapter we studied that shloka Brahmarpanam comes in 4th chapter only. And there, what did we say? Everything should be converted into worship. That's what he's talking about. How to convert everything to worship. Right? Yeah. So therefore, in this shloka he is saying the fire in the belly is me. And uniting with prana and apana, the outgoing and incoming breath, I am digesting and distributing it. Whichever way you consume. Right? Whatever type of food you eat and whichever way you consume, I'm the one who is digesting it. So, थोड़ा बहुत importance दे दो मुझे भी. Make sure that the consciousness is increasing. Don't eat in such a way that all my energy goes in digesting the food itself. You eat,
That is restraint.
exactly. With the next shloka 15, he concludes this thought of akshara, which is imperishable, right? In and through the perishable. Verse number 15.
सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टः मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यः वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम्.
I am seated in the hearts of all, and from me emanate memory, knowledge, and their loss. So here he comes to the point. He says, he said, I am the light in the moon and the sun. Then I come into the moon and then to the fire, into your belly, digesting the food and all that. Then he says, I am the one who is seated in the hearts of all. Right? So what he's directly saying here is Sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishtaha. Hridi means heart. Heart means core. See, sometimes you find this word heart is interpreted as mind. I am the truth shining through the mind. That's also not wrong. Because mind is only what? The reflected consciousness. When the consciousness functions through the mind, you say, I know, I feel. So, it is conditioned consciousness, right? The reflected consciousness. I'm the one who is reflecting through the mind. It's not wrong to interpret it that way. Another way of looking at it is, I'm the core, heart of the city, you say. Isn't it? Heart of the country, heart of the city, heart of the family. Right? So, in that sense, I am the heart, I am the hridi, I am seated in the hearts of all. Meaning what? I am the consciousness without which nothing works. I am the samanya karanam. And from me, from the consciousness shining through the mind, right? The subtle body, entire subtle body. He says, emanate memory, right? I remember everything when the consciousness functioning through the mind. And I also gain knowledge. If the consciousness is not functioning through the mind, I won't be able to gain knowledge. So every time I'm gaining knowledge, I can see consciousness in it. It's not what I gain, what knowledge I gain, that is consciousness. What makes me gain the knowledge is consciousness. Right? And every time I remember that which is making me remember is consciousness, not what is remembered. Right? Matta smriti jnanam apohanam. Smriti means memory. Jnanam means knowledge. Apohana means forgetfulness. So he says, I am the one seated in the hearts of all, and from me emanate memory, knowledge, and their loss also. अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया माइंड में, ब्रेन में, you understand? You forget things. And actually, from a different angle, when you look at it, forgetfulness is good. Things that ought to be forgotten, we should forget. Things that ought to be remembered, we should remember.
Really,
No, no, no.
with God's grace, that
No,
what we remember and what we forget.
no. It happens in many people in normal life as if we don't have any control over it. But if we put in effort properly, we can remember things that we should remember and we can forget things which we can forget. We should forget. Right? That's a different subject altogether. But what he's trying to say here is the loss, he is taking ownership of the forgetfulness also. I am behind forgetfulness. See, in short, what he wants to say, if the faculty cannot express the consciousness, you won't see the reflected consciousness. Understand? So when there is deterioration in the faculty, to that extent the consciousness cannot be reflected through that. But even if that I am there, even in that forgetfulness I am there. But individually it's true, apohanam is a blessing actually. Unnecessarily we remember many things and we suffer. Right? He is the one who said this to me. Somebody asked Swami Chimnananda, Swamiji, why is it that I don't remember my past janmas? He said it's for your good and my good. Why? What do you mean? By chance you remember your past janma. And in case, it's all hypothesis, in case in your past janma, your wife eloped with somebody else and that guy with whom she eloped was me in the past janma. Will you now sit and listen to my class? You understand? So it's for your good and my good. So in the sense, jokes apart, many things actually are not worthy of remembering. Right? What is really worthy of remembering is that which makes you remember. Everything else is not worthy of remembering. If you go very deep, even remembering Bhagavad Gita shloka is not worthy. Remembering the truth that is pointed through the shlokas is worthy. Understand?
But when you have agency over a situation, which is trying to remember the right thing, that is also him. But also forgetfulness
is a blessing from that point.
But also for people who naturally have it, is also technically his grace or his decision. The forgetfulness.
Everything is his grace that way. But when you put in the effort using the grace, you develop sattvic intellect. When it talks about sattvic intellect, you will see that in the 18th chapter. I'll point it out. He says sattvic intellect is that which fears what to be feared, fears not what ought not to be feared. That is developed by you. So you remember things, you don't remember things consciously. You don't give importance to these things. So why would it come and bother you? Why would it eat away your sleep? That is true tapas. That's why I said it is your efforts through which you can develop that ability. You are the one who's giving unnecessary importance to all these things. He is the one who called me buffalo. Yeah, unnecessarily, why you want to remember that? You put in effort. You give importance to what you study in the Gita class, you'll remember that. So, it is, in a way, not just involuntary, it is voluntary. That's why I said, you can choose to remember, you can choose to forget, when you ask me.
Example, again, with however they are designed, just have the genetic disposition to forget or remember. That's all right. Also God's manifestation.
That's what we are also saying. As we get old, many things we forget. Right? But even people who have been doing proper tapas, they don't forget the things that they should not forget. You understand? So, natural process mein jo hota hai, that's what you're talking about. It's okay, fine. They are forgetting. So what? But what I'm trying to say is the faculty is deteriorating. As a result, you're forgetting. But even in that forgetfulness, you can see God. Even in the things which is not reflecting, you can see God. The thing is, it's easy to see God in things which is reflecting. Can you see God in things which are not reflecting? It's even subtle, no?
That's what I remember in chapter 11 when he says that I am the highest manifestation in the devils, but also in the God. Both is me. It's easier for us to see it in the gods. It's harder for us.
We are finding it difficult to see it in God itself. Where are we going to see it in devils? So he says, I am the one which is behind the memory, knowledge, and apohanam. Also, one great guru explains it in a very interesting way. He says the knowledge refers to waking state. Memory refers to deep dream state. Apohanam, forgetfulness, refers to deep sleep state. In deep sleep, you don't remember anything. Right? So it's the consciousness that is there in the deep sleep also. Then memory means it's not a fully awakened mind, right? So some memories are there. So he equates it to dream. Then knowledge, where it's equated to the fully opened up state, waking state. So he says the consciousness that functions in all the three states. That is how you should see it, he says. That's a very good interpretation. It's not given by Adi Shankaracharya, it's given by somebody else. Then he says, I am verily that which is to be known by the Vedas. What is the subject matter in the Vedas? Not the shlokas, not the mantras and all that. The subject matter is Brahman. The thing that really needs to be known is Brahman. And who is given these Vedas? Who is the author of these Vedas? Brahman alone can give Vedas. It cannot be given by egoistic person. You understand? So when the individuals, sadhaks, sages, through the process of sadhana and knowledge, completely annihilated the ego, the divinity expressed through them as Vedas. So that's why we say it is apaurusham. Paurusha means it's not something that has come through human efforts. It is directly coming from divinity. So the source of the Vedas is God, the author of Vedas. You understand? And then the knower of Vedas. Who can know this? Only Brahman can know Brahman. So by doing tapas, you remove the dirt so much so that you become absolutely transparent from within. Then the divinity reveals itself through you. So I am the subject, the thing to be known, and the source of this Vedas, the author, and the student, the guru and the student both. The student who knows is also me. So in the dream, the dreamer, the dream object, and the entire dream is the waker's mind. Like that, everything in this world is nothing but that consciousness. I am the Samanya Karana. Samanya Karana. Right? And now from 16 till the end, he will talk about that Uttama Purusha, which is beyond Shara and Akshara. Kshara was discussed from verse 1 to 11. Then 12 to 15, Akshara. So now 16 to 20, Uttama Purusha. Nirguna Tattva, which we will see next week. Let's conclude now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.